Welcome to another elementary analysis help video. Today I'm going to be talking about antecedent control. I'm going to go over what antecedent control procedures are, the types of antecedent control procedures, and some examples of these procedures in use. Antecedent control procedures go back to operant conditioning. If we look at our ABC contingency, we would be focusing on the A component, or the antecedent. In these procedures, the antecedent in a contingency is manipulated to either increase a desirable behavior, decrease an undesirable behavior, or both. The types of antecedent control procedures that we're going to be looking at are presenting a discriminative stimulus. You would increase a desirable behavior by ensuring the discriminative stimulus is present. To increase a behavior, you could also look at establishing operations. By increasing the desirable behavior by arranging establishing operations for that behavior. You could also decrease response effort. Increase desirable behavior by decreasing the effort needed to engage in that behavior. To decrease behavior, you could remove the discriminative stimulus. You can also look at abolishing operations and decrease undesirable behavior by arranging abolishing operations for that behavior. And you can also increase response effort. You can decrease the undesirable behavior by increasing the effort needed to engage in that behavior. So let's look at some examples. First, I'm going to look at presenting the discriminative stimulus. You can ensure that the discriminative stimulus and/or cues are present in order to increase a desirable behavior. So for example, if you wanted to increase your studying behavior, you could arrange for a quiet space and to make sure you have your study materials present. In this case, the quiet space and the materials would be the discriminative stimulus that signaled the reinforcement of the studying behavior is available. You could also increase the behavior of working out by arranging to be at the gym or having workout gear. These are going to be the discriminative stimulus that signal the reinforcement of working out is available. And if you want to increase self-care behavior, you could set a reminder to meditate, which would be a cue, or you could also arrange to have journaling materials nearby. On the other hand, if you want to decrease an undesirable behavior, you can remove the discriminative stimulus or cues. An example of this would be if you wanted to decrease using social media. You could remove the app completely from your phone, which would remove the discriminative stimulus of the app. You could also turn off notifications, which are like a cue that signal reinforcement of social media is available. If you wanted to decrease your sugar consumption behavior, you could remove sugary foods from the house altogether. You could also delete food apps that you may use to order these sugary foods. Both of these are discriminative stimuli that signal the reinforcement of sugar consumption is available. And if you wanted to decrease your TV watching behavior, you could remove the TV from your room that you use, and you could also delete the channels and apps that you tend to use frequently. Another method for increasing desirable behavior is looking at establishing operations. If you arrange for establishing operations to increase the value of stimulus as a reinforcer, then it will make the behavior more likely. For example, if we look at our studying behavior example again, if you're like me and you like crossing things off of a list, then making a list of things to study and crossing them off as you go may increase the reinforcing value of studying. You could also increase the behavior of working out by creating a good workout playlist that you are excited to listen to and you only use when working out, and that would increase the reinforcing value of working out because you get to listen to that playlist. And if you want to increase self-care behavior, if you buy yourself a nice bath bomb, it would increase the reinforcing value of the self-care behavior because you get to use that new bath bomb. To have the opposite effect, we would look at abolishing operations to decrease undesirable behavior. This would decrease the value of stimulus as a reinforcer. So for example, if you want to decrease your social media use, you could unfollow all of the accounts that you find interesting. This would really decrease the value of social media because you wouldn't be able to look at the pages that you find interesting. If you wanted to decrease your sugar consumption, if you only keep sugary foods that are in your least favorite flavor, the value of the sugary foods as a reinforcer would be greatly decreased. And if you want to decrease TV watching behavior, If you read about what happens on your favorite shows before watching them, it would decrease the reinforcing value of watching those shows since you already know what happens. And our last method is response effort. So to increase a desirable behavior, you would decrease response effort, which would lower the effort required to engage in a behavior. So this is kind of an inverse relationship, because if you decrease response effort, you increase the likeliness that the behavior will occur. So an example of this would be for increasing studying behavior. If you keep your study materials in your bag, for example, if you make flashcards, and you keep that with you wherever you go, it will lead to less effort required to study. If you want to increase your behavior of working out, if you were to get equipment to work out with in your home rather than having to go to the gym, it would decrease the effort necessary to work out and would make the behavior more likely. And if you want to increase self-care behavior, if you learn meditation techniques that can be done in just a few minutes rather than the more involved ones that take a long time, it could require less effort and would make it more likely for you to engage in those behaviors. And finally, to decrease undesirable behavior, you would increase response effort. So again, this is another inverse relationship. Some examples of this would be for decreasing social media use, you can move the social media apps to another page on your phone. While this may seem like a small change, it does require more effort to scroll to those pages and therefore may become less likely to engage in those behaviors. To decrease sugar consumption, if you keep sugary foods in another room or just not in the house at all, then it would require more effort to go get them from the other room or to have to leave the house to go get them, and you would be less likely to engage in that behavior. And to decrease TV watching behavior, if you set up a password on your TV, every time you try to watch it, it would lead to more effort needed to log in and watch those shows, and it may make you less likely to engage in that behavior. Hopefully that helps make a little bit more sense of this concept. Thank you for watching. Bye.